Once I get set up, I can do really, really good damage while still continuing to be really, really tanky. This is definitely a defensive team, uh, but it does have the potential to do huge amounts of damage. So that's why I like it's kind of a mix of both. This would not be the. You know what? I'm not gonna do Rain Dance's team this time. Let's do these four and see what happens. Because this opposite team is going to be really dangerous in Rain Dance, so I'm not going to focus on Rain Dance this time. Hello everybody, it's post M-Dog here. I just realized that past M-Dog did not go over the team like a dumb idiot he is, so I decided to kind of hop in here and kind of give you the general breakdown of how this team works and what I expect this team to do. Starting off with Fergraf here, Fergraf is going to be our main support Trick Room setter. Its ability is going to be Kudchu, it's going to be holding the Citrus Berry, it's going to know Protect, Trick Broom, Sidekick, and Rain Dance. The main thing that I want Fergraf to do here is to set up Trick Room and Rain Dance. If it lives long enough to be able to use Sidekick, that's just a bonus. I decided to give it Kudchu because I realized not a whole lot of people are running priority moves this format, so I just decided to use Kudchu over Armor Tail because of its sustainability. It allows me to use Citrus Berry twice in one game, so that I'll be able to keep Fergraf alive for a lot longer, assuming that it is able to survive a lot of attacks, which it can. It can even tank a lot of super effective attacks, unless it's from like a Kowtow Cleave from a King Gambit. But overall, it is a very offensive and a very good Trick Room setter, so I decided to go that route. Now, up next is going to be one of our main attackers here, Araquanid. Araquanid is going to have Liquidation, Lunge, Leech Life, and Protect. Lunge is just there in order to prevent any physical attackers on the other team from doing a whole lot of damage to us. Leech Life is there for some sustainability and survivability. Araquanid is actually particularly tanky, so I wanted to take advantage of that as much as I can. And on to our main damage move here, Liquidation. Liquidation is an 85 base power, 100 accurate move that Araquanid can learn, and it's the strongest physical water type move that it could learn. It can learn Waterfall, but I wanted the Liquidation's 85 power over the 80 power of Waterfall. Araquanid here can do a ton of damage if you do Liquidation plus Mystic Water plus its ability Water Bubble, which will boost its water type attacks and prevent burn. And if you have Rain Out and Stab, it all equals to a load of damage, and it can pretty much knock out any Pokemon in one hit, as long as they're not super physically bulky like Aggron. Aggron can actually tank it fairly well, but it will deal a lot of damage still. So that's Araquanid's main role. It's there to check for any kind of fire types. It's also kind of there to prevent Skullvillain from being able to set up with Spicy Spray. Unfortunately, I haven't really fought against a Skullvillain with Araquanid quite yet. It seems to have dodged me every single time in ladder, and every time I've decided to not use Araquanid, Skullvillain decides to show up and do some decent damage anyway. So it is a main check for Skullvillain, but it's also primarily just used as a general physical attacker, a physical tanky attacker that's meant to stay for a long time. Up next, we got the bulky Ampharos here. Ampharos is going to know Dragon Pulse, Protect, Thunder, and Parabolic Charge. Again, with Rain Dance from Fergraf, Ampharos is going to use a Stab Thunder, which can pretty much one-shot any Pokemon that it decides to target, unless of course if it's a ground type like Garchomp. And we have Dragon Pulse to check Garchomp as well as any other dragon types that may cross its path. So that Stab Dragon Pulse will do a lot of damage. We have Protect again for some longevity. We even have Parabolic Charge as well. A Parabolic Charge is a move that hits all Pokemon in the field, and it will give a percentage of health back to Ampharos based on the damage that it did to each Pokemon. Now, all of my Pokemon on my side of the field should know either Protect, Detect, or Wide Guard, so that way it will not get hit with Parabolic Charge, and the other two on the enemy team will. This is mainly used to check for Basculegion and Charizard, as well as Aerodactyl. It's actually pretty effective at dealing with Aerodactyl as well. So Ampharos has been an instrumental Pokemon for climbing the ladder and for dealing a lot of damage to the meta of the Basculin and Charizard teams. Up next is probably an odd pick for most people. We have Conkeldurr or Conkeldurr. I like to swap between the two pronunciations. Has a lot of HP, is very bulky, has a lot of attacks, so it can hit really, really hard. The moves I decided to give it was Poison Jab, Wide Guard, Detect, and Drain Punch. Conkeldurr here is mostly meant to check for King Gambit, but it also can check fairy types as well with Poison Jab. And you might be wondering why I decided to not use Guts over like Iron Fist or Sheer Force. Guts provides a 50% attack boost, attack stat boost for Conkeldurr if it gets hit with a burn, a paralysis, or a poison. Unfortunately, there's just not an easy way to set that up in this particular game. You could use Prankster, Sableye for Will-O-Wisp, but it's a lot more difficult to do that rather than just waiting for like a Flame Orb to proc or something like that. So I decided to use Iron Fist to make Drain Punch a little bit more effective. Sheer Force, while useful, and actually has more boosting power than Iron Fist does, unfortunately it would have gotten rid of the secondary effect of healing on Drain Punch, and I used Drain Punch for Conkeldurr for survivability as well. This Conkeldurr will be holding the leftovers, so it could stay even longer out in the field, and the reason why I gave it Poison Jab over any other kind of fist move, because Poison Jab isn't a fist move, I gave it Poison Jab so that it could check fairy types, primarily Sylveon and Floette, since they are particularly weak against physical poison type attacks. And while Conkeldurr is a fighting type and is weak to a lot of fairy types, it actually does have a decent amount of HP and staying power, so that it can at least get one Poison Jab off and do a significant amount of damage, or hopefully knocking out that fairy type in particular. Up next is our second support, Hatterene. Hatterene here has a Dazzling Gleam, Trick Room, Life Dew, and Protect. Again, its main purpose is to set up Trick Room, Dazzling Gleam for some spread, and if it decides to go up against a Sableye, it has that spread stab move as well. That'll be super effective against Sableye. Life Dew for some staying power for the entire team. If its partner is low or if itself is low, then it can use Life Dew for some survivability, and Protect again for some staying power as well. We have Magic Bounce just in case any Pokemon decide to taunt in, so that it can Magic Bounce that taunt back at any team that decides to do that taunt, or Parting Shot, for example. That's actually a really funny interaction. Magic Bounce can reflect Parting Shot back onto the enemy and force you to swap out instead. Last but not least, here we have another support Pokemon in Sableye. Now, I don't really get to use Sableye that much, but when I do, it is meant to cut the physical attackers down by quite a heavy hand. It knows Will-O-Wisp, Fake Out, Reflect, and Rain Dance. Fake Out is just to make sure that if it's on the field with any Trick Room users, that the Trick Room user can set up. Will-O-Wisp and Reflect to cut down that physical attack stat as much as we possibly can, and Rain Dance as well to set up Watame and Araquanid, just in case Ferrograph isn't able to do so. It also has Prankster because of course it does, just to make sure that it can get that Will-O-Wisp, Reflect, and Rain Dance out even faster. But yeah, that's going to be the entire team. I'm going to go ahead and give the baton back to my past self, and you can see how this particular fight goes. Also, let me know if I can improve this team in any way, shape, or form. I'm always looking for feedback on this particular team. It's really, really fun, and I think that it's a little incomplete here and there. Conkeldurr especially, because that fourth slot can, that Poison Jab takes up can kind of be open in any other way. So just let me know if there's any other ways that I can improve upon this team or make the team better. I'll also leave the code for this team down below, so if you ever want to try it, you can do that as well. But yeah, other than that, let's get on with Past Me. Now that they're looking at Fake Out. not going to use okay. I'm not going to use Mega Evolution until both these guys are off the field. Because both these guys being on the field is dangerous for Watame when it's Mega Evolved, so I'm not going to bother. Do Parabolic Charge here, break that multi-scale. I might swap out for a Graph, actually. I'm gonna RA as a multi-hit, or not, spread damage move. They're probably gonna use Blizzard again, if I would guess. Blizzard has been oddly hitting a lot. Like, Blizzard has been hitting a lot lately. Like, that's weird how much it's been hitting. Nice. Mariana has Sister Spare. That's not going to matter. This Poison Jab should finish the job. Yeah. The reason why I have Poison Jab on Calculator, by the way, is to check fairy types. Even if it is a fighting type, it can do good into fairy types. Solar Edge. Quackaball is going to have Aqua Step here, so that's going to be difficult. I'm going to go ahead and protect on Vibe Check's turn, and then I think I'm going to do Drain Punch on the Quackaball. Good. Will I be able to survive a Poison Jab here? We'll see. I'll actually just go ahead and use Detect here. I don't think Vibe Check will live a Poison Jab, but we'll find out. Wow, I called that out. Oh, I double called that out. Wow. That's crazy. I was not expecting both of them to hit me, I'm gonna be honest. We'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll go ahead and use Poison Jab on Solar Edge. Now, the only issue is that my next Pokemon is Farigiraf, and Farigiraf doesn't do really that well into Ceruledge, so we'll have to see how this is going to play out. That's Pokeball, because I can most certainly just take out Conkeldurr, and I would just be kind of in a bind. I could hope for Poison, honestly, but it's a little nerve-wracking, so... Oh, Phantom Force. Wait, why? Why, though? Because I could just protect and protect. Like, Phantom Force is a good move, but, like, when you use it with your last Pokemon, I don't know. Oh, it goes through Protect. Okay, good to know. Okay, let's see what else happens. I actually kind of forget that Phantom Force can go through Protect. I think it's because I literally have seen that move like 5 times throughout the entirety I've been playing this game, so I just completely forget. There we go, okay.